There's clearly a message that's being sent here. We're going to pan the camera right over right now so that you can see this U.S. guided missile destroyer from Norfolk, Virginia, the Truxtun, with a crew of approximately 300 on board, steaming right now, Jake, up the Bosphorus Strait. It is that geographic natural choke point and the only way that any sea vessel can get in to the Black Sea. Now, the U.S. Navy says that this was a previously scheduled journey to conduct joint naval operations, as you mentioned, with Bulgaria and Romania. But the situation in the Black Sea and in the Crimean Peninsula is anything but normal right now. The Russian military has effectively occupied the Crimean Peninsula, which is home not only to the Ukrainian Navy, but also to the Russian Navy. And you recall just last Tuesday, we spoke from this very same point in this Bosphorus Strait about Russian warships, 2 of them that had sailed up to the Black Sea, and also Ukrainian naval vessels. So a lot of the crisis right now stems from naval power, from Russia's traditional claim to the Crimean Peninsula for more than a century as a vital and strategic warm water port for a country where much of its coastline is frozen in by ice, especially during the winter months. Part of why it is so valuable to Russia to have the Crimean Peninsula as a place where its Navy can move in and out of. And on top of that, and I'll remind you again, this is a U.S. Navy destroyer, the Truxtun, that sails normally out of Norfolk, Virginia. On top of that, the Russian military at this point is blockading a number of Ukrainian naval vessels in the Crimea at their home port. There's actually scuttled at least 2 ships to keep Ukrainian Navy ships from being able to move out from there. So the naval component is a very important part of the crisis, the geopolitical tug of war that we're seeing around Crimea, around the Ukraine right now. And that's why, amid the diplomacy that we're seeing going on between Moscow and Washington and the European Union and Kiev, the movements of naval warships like this are also important. They send messages right now, as U.S. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel has done earlier this week, announcing that the U.S. would step up joint air patrols over the Baltic Peninsula. That's a clear sign of support to Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland, 4 former Soviet satellite states, all very concerned right now, Jake, about the Russian military moves into Ukraine and into the Crimean Peninsula.